expert slot with Chris Jones from Reclaim Tax Limited, because of course this is the Catax Lounge at Shrewsbury Town Football Club, and we've just nipped downstairs from the Shrewsbury Town Shropshire Chamber Expo here to catch up with Chris. So welcome home.
Hi Carl. Yeah,
how long have you been involved with the football club with this then?
Well, 3 years now. This is our third year of supporting the lounge. It's a hub we use to bring local clients to enjoy some football and ultimately cross-network as well, which has been very successful for us.
Let's hope enjoying football becomes a bit more enjoyable for the second half of the season for Shrewsbury than it has been for the first half. Now, you came on board as our Ask the Expert at the start of this series. So the last episode, you really set the scene for what Reclaim Tax is, what you do and how it works. So I thought probably this time round it might be sensible to give a few more practical tips about how companies who do want to interact with you will have their experience with you, how the practical steps work, but also maybe some examples that you've got, and I know you've got loads of businesses that you've helped.
So we work with across a wide, broad section of sectors, essentially. So whether that be like the electrician over in Oswestry, house builder in Shrewsbury, the jeweller in Ludlow, the manufacturer in Market Drayton, the Whitchurch Aggregates Company, or even someone like the engineering company in Telford. So the common theme with all of those businesses that they've been attempting to try and overcome some technical challenges within their business, and essentially they've spent some time, effort, money and resource in trying to achieve that, overcoming that technical challenge. So if any company fits into any of those brackets, then definitely would like to have a conversation with them and see if we can actually help them try and get back some tax relief as well.
So take me through those sectors again. So we've got construction industry, we've got jewellers, we've got house builders we mentioned. Who else have we got?
So manufacturing, engineering, and as I say, pretty much every sector we've worked with clients for, even things such as the service sector. So there's essentially there can be some opportunities there for businesses that have invested significantly in things like software systems that have been designed specifically to their requirements. Then those are the kind of areas in which we can help those, rather than just being the practical hands-on making of products. It can be a lot more than that, actually looking at, as I say, improving processes, the kind of challenges that come with business growth, or the kind of challenges that can just be found in the day-to-day work. It's usually the projects which are in plain sight, which most people don't think that it is something that they could benefit from. However, as I say, we're very well versed in talking to clients, understanding what their business does, and taking the relevant parts that will meet the HMRC's criteria for certain tax reliefs, and then essentially taking them through the process to ensure that they get a significant return.
It's a classic thing, isn't it, though? Businesses who are so close to doing what they do take for granted what they do and don't realise how the outsiders are seeing what they do. So you have to take, I guess, a little bit of a step back then, don't you, and sort of coldly analyse their business and say, right, what are there 2 or 3 like key tick boxes that they would have to have filled in just to get to the next stage then?
So essentially, any business, if they have encountered there's 2 kinds of businesses which will do research and development. There's those which set out to do it by design. They will be large corporate manufacturing companies which might be setting out to do something like create a new product that's new to the market. And there's those which are more commonly that we come across are those which do it by accident, those which don't really think that they are doing research and development, those which have had problems on projects where the phone keeps ringing, issues keep arising. Something will tell you that there's no run-of-the-mill solution to actually find the answer to the problem. Therefore, they're having to get their heads together. We call it the scratch your head moment, where you have to take stock, maybe involve 2 or 3 other people to try and get a couple of different views to see how you're going to overcome that particular challenge. If you ever have that within a business, then it's a good opportunity. It's a good chance that there's going to be something there which we can really look to claim back for you. So don't rule anything out, and it's not for failed projects, because lots of businesses will have those projects where they really genuinely haven't been able to overcome or get them over the line, and that's because there's a reason for that they've been too technical. It might be the case in a lot of the instances. So those will be something that will definitely we could definitely work with, I'm sure.
Could it also be, though, that sometimes people only realise retrospectively that what they've actually done is an R&D project? They might have just been going about their business, and it's only they don't have to have flagged it up at the time they were doing it to fit that category. They then look back at it and say, actually, this
Yeah, absolutely. And I can give you a very good example of that. I spoke at this venue actually just before COVID, and I did a presentation to a number of businesses. And 2 weeks ago, one of the people in that audience approached us, an aggregates company based over in Telford, and given from what they learnt then, the activity that they've done since during COVID, actually something that they think might be worth qualifying. So we've had that conversation. It is something that we can work with, and they will get a significant sum of money back. And like you say, when people understand it a little bit better, it helps them identify where it might be within their organisation.
There's a light bulb moment at some stage, isn't there, in the
There
process
is.
then? So
There is. And as I say, it's just by opening the door and having that conversation. It might not be something that you're doing currently, but if you understand it a little bit better, your activities may change in the future. And then at some point, you will recognise that that is something that you can essentially benefit from.
So let's say then, Chris, I've had this light bulb moment. I've come to you. You decide that, yes, I tick the required boxes. How quickly can the process be wrapped up and the money actually be in the account then?
So fairly quickly. I mean, we work with, we have an SLA in terms of HMRC for 28 days that we submit a claim in that the client's cash will come back, or the adjustment to their corporation tax. We will typically anticipate the very first communication will be around about a 15-minute discovery call to see whether or not there's something that is viable for us to work with the client on their behalf. Following on from that, we'll capture a little bit more in-depth granular project information, which is probably around about another 30 to 45 minutes. We will then work with our technical team based at CatTax, they'll be allocated a technical account manager. There'll be another 2-hour meeting involved there with one of our senior tax consultants who essentially is going to be writing that report on behalf of the client and on behalf of us. So we're submitting something into HMRC which is robust and clearly outlines how that client meets the HMRC's guidelines. Then the figures will go over to one of our tax analysts, which will work out all the qualifying costs associated with that project. So all in all, the time investment is very, very low. From a business's point of view, we usually see between 4 to 5 hours of maximum time investment from the key stakeholders in the business, and that's usually spread over probably a 3 to 4 week period as well.
Which, by an hourly rate point of view, compared to what they can potentially get back, is pretty lucrative.
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yeah. So it can be quite significant investment of time.
Brilliant. Well, I know you're going to hopefully try and get us out there to some of the people that you have worked with over the coming months, so we can get out on location, speak to them, and see maybe what some of this money has actually helped to achieve. In the meantime, good to catch up with you. Let's hope there's plenty more reasons to smile in this bar for Shrewsbury Town over the rest of the season.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.